Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. This is another alternate card using elements from the Daisy Daydream Paper Pumpkin kit for March 2025. And I am bringing in the dies from the Impressions of Bloom dies. So this is a new set that's going to be available in May. The stamp set is gorgeous. The dies are phenomenal. And I'm going to use this one die here. And I am going to do kind of an envelope flap or a flap front card. So to do this, I need 2 card bases. Really, if you wanted to cut this off so you've still got the back to use, you absolutely could. And then just mount it on a plain piece of cardstock. That's absolutely 100% something you could do. And I also have this card base, and we're going to create the flap out of this. So I'm going to do the greeting in Mossy Meadow, even though Mossy Meadow is not one of the colors that coordinates with this kit. Oh, yes it is. Look at me, I can't even read. Mossy Meadow is one of the colors. So Mossy Meadow closely matches the color of the leaves. So we're going to use that for the greeting. We're going to use a whole bunch of these really lovely daisy die cuts. And I have some of the satin ribbon. It is the 1/8 inch ribbon. And I have a piece of that. I've cut it in a bow. And when we do the front flap card, it takes up a little bit of real estate. So we are going to trim this tiniest piece off the front of the card. So let me just move. I'm pushing everything on my desk so that you can see. And I am just taking off maybe 1/8 of an inch, not a lot at all. Just enough that the trimmer isn't just going to totally damage the edge of that paper. And because it's a really fine cut, I'm starting a little bit down, going back and pulling forward, just so that it doesn't bend that top corner. And see, that's the strip that I took off, super small. Okay, and all it does is leave you a little bit of an edge that's going to stop that card or the flap from being totally bulky. Okay, now because I've done that, I have this white strip down here that's going to show. So I've already cut apart one of the card bases to make another card. So I'm going to I cut this one and I cut this piece off at 5 1/4, and then I trimmed it down to 4 to make the card front for my first alternate. So that means now I've still got this as 5 1/2, so it's going to be the same length as this, but I just trimmed off again a really small piece. It's about double, or not quite double, the size of that. So let's call it 1/4 inch if you need a measurement. And we're just going to add some glue. And I'm just going to add that little bit of glue. Okay. And then I'm just going to use the nozzle to kind of spread it out a little bit, just so it doesn't all glomp up and I don't get a glue halo around my piece. You can also use your finger to do this if you've got a wet wipe to clean off your finger afterwards. But I'm going to use my tweezers to pick this one up. And then we're just going to put this down right in that bottom corner there, right up at the edge, and then up at the edge all the way to the top. And just press it down. And I'm doing this before I do anything else, just so that glue has a chance to dry. And that way, when you close the card, you've still got the card pattern in the background. So I just wanted that glue to have just a second to set up before we start playing with the card. So let's make sure that's all the way down. Leave that off to the side. Now I'm going to show you how to do the flap front for this one. Okay, so we've got our card, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the die And I'm putting this at an angle, so I'm not putting a flat edge against my blade, but we're going to take this and we're going to put this over. Now, if I did this, I would get 2 die cuts this shape. I want a folded here. So I'm using the natural fold of the card, and I'm going to line this up like that. So this is now going to become the flap on the front of my card. And I'm going to put some sticky notes on that just to hold that in place. And then I'm going to sandwich it up without the stamp set on it and run it through the machine. So let's do this. And this is where I get to say thank you to all my new subscribers in the last week or so. And your enthusiasm, your comments are fantastic. And I love how you share your ideas with me. And the next video, I'm going to put one of those ideas into practice. It was a question that was asked or a suggestion that was made, and I'm going to try it. So stay tuned for that, because I am really looking forward to that. Now, we still have a lot of real estate left on this card that we could use. So it's not trash now. I'm going to keep it. I might use it. I might not. I just save it in my scraps bin. Okay. So with this now, we have a flap. And we can start building our front flap card. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow, and the greeting is, thank you for always being there for me. And I've had a few trials and tribulations in the last few weeks. So I have this is a perfect greeting. I have plenty of people I could send this card to. So I'm just going to stamp that down. There you go. So thank you for always being there for me. And we're just going to put that off to the side. And I have 2 options. I can decorate this now and add it to the card after, or I can add this to the card now. But when I do this, all I've done is I've kind of basically just put it over the front of the card, and I'm going to figure out where I want it to sit. So I want it to sit here. So I'm going to open up the card, holding it where it is. And now I'm going to use my adhesive, which I pushed out of the way up over here. And I'm going to put adhesive on the back of the flap. You can see it's a different color. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make sure I'm still lined up. And then I'm going to close the card like that. Okay. So now I open this, I have this area here. I can decorate this area. I can highlight it. You can put designer series paper on the inside if you want. What I really wanted to do was kind of highlight the card. So what I might do is come in with a blending brush and just kind of add some color around here. I can come in with stamps and stamp the inside of the card. There's all kinds of possibilities for what to do for the inside. But what I really wanted to show you is the front flap card and how to construct it. Because I don't know if you can see, but this fold, of course, stands a little bit higher than the front of the card. But now it doesn't stand out from the card. It's like it's part of the card. And I haven't stamped this overly straight, but I didn't realize that till I glued it down. It's fine. If you do that and realize you haven't stamped straight, all you do is you stamp on the piece that I just glued down, like flip it over this way, stamp on that, and then this will be hidden. So there's always a way to fix an oops. Really, there's always a way to fix an oops. So, okay, so I've got all of these daisies I want to add. So I'm going to get out my dimensionals, and I am going to add these daisies kind of willy-nilly all over the place. And I've got lots of them left, so I'm going to see where I can put them. So we're just going to grab up some dimensionals, and let's start putting these down. So I'm going to put one here like this. keeping in mind I've got a ribbon to add, and where am I going to put that ribbon? This one is going to go kind of up here like this. And the dimensional is all the way on the front flap. So that's another thing that you need to kind of think about in your head is where are you putting things? Okay, this one I think is gonna go here. And I think that's probably, I'll just do one more flower, I think. So this one I'm going to tuck under here like this. I need not to be off the edge of the card with this one. Okay, now I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to use my take your pick tool and use the flat side just to pick this up, and I'm just going to pop it down onto the ribbon bow, just onto the back like that. And then I can also use the take your pick tool to lift the adhesive or the cover off the back, and I'm just going to pop this down right in the middle of those two flowers, just like that. And it looks crooked. There we go. And I can trim off the ends here, which I will do. And I'm going to add one more flower, and we can add bling if you like. We absolutely can. So let's use this one, and I'm going to pop it right on like that. So almost everything in this is from the kit. The only thing I've added is the ribbon and the die to cut this out. Now, if you don't have these dies, it doesn't mean you can't do this card. If you've got your stitched rectangles, your deckled rectangles, anything that will cut a shape, you can do this. Just don't put your folded edge inside of the cut line, and then you'll get that, you'll get the like a mini card kind of thing. So just because I've used the Impressions of Bloom die doesn't mean that that's the only die you can use. I just used it because I love it and I wanted to showcase one of the new products. So it's kind of a sneaky peeky. So this is our front flap card. Opens up, and then you can add your greeting. You can add some color in here. You can use designer series paper, however you would like to do it. But we've used this little tiny strip to mask the white edge that we trimmed off so that we could have the fold not kind of interfere with the edge of the card. But that is, when you get this, you wouldn't even know that it's a front flap card. It's like a little hidden mystery. So I think this one is super fun and I really like it. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for a couple more alternate cards.